I will make sure I do. So I just want to say good morning. I want to announce right up front next Friday, I will be sending you out a link to watch something special as I'll be taking my group, my theater trip to London next week with, I know one or two of you who are here right now are going. And it'll be very difficult to do a live Zoom from there in the middle of the afternoon as I'm anticipating. So I'm going to send out a link for with a something really interesting to watch. And I apologize, I just won't be able to do it live, but I'm not going to let anybody be stranded. So today, speaking of British, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about how the British really evolved and took over the Broadway musical in the 1980s. It did have some roots. Uh, you have to go way, 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 way back, and I'll explain how this really took place. Typically, up until the early 1950s, there was never anything British or anything non American, as a matter of fact, that became the plot device for the Broadway musical. Almost every single musical was American in feel, American in story, and truly did not really ever reflect anything other than Americana. And Peter Pan was maybe the first version of a Broadway musical that used a British story, used a British setting, and got people used to something that wasn't quite American. It ran on TV. It did run in New York. But the idea was that it would be far better suited on television, although it was originally slated to be made into a movie musical. And Mary Martin's husband knew that they would never cast Mary Martin in this. So he quickly made a deal with NBC. And on the left, you see Jerome Robbins teaching Mary Martin how to fly and how to look when she was up there flying. It was Jerome Robbins who's responsible for that. And just here's a couple quick snippets from Peter Pan.
Can you really fly?
I'll teach you. How lovely to fly.
I'll teach you how to jump on the wind's back, and away we'll go.
Ooh.
One day when you're sleeping in your silly bed, you might be flying about with me, saying funny things to the stars.
How do you do it?
You just think lovely, wonderful thoughts, and up you go. I'm flying. I'm flying. Look at me way up high, such see, here am I, I'm flying. I'm flying. I can soar, I can weave, and what's more, I'm not even trying. High up and as light as I can be. I must be a sight lovely to see. I'm flying. Nothing will stop me now. Higher still, look at how I can zoom around. Way up off the ground, I'm flying. I fly and I'm all over the place. You try and you fall flat on your face. I'm flying. Over bed, over chair, duck your head, clear the air. Oh, what lovely fun. Watch me, everyone. Take a look at me and see how easily it's done. I'm flying. You like it?
Oh, yes.
You want to learn how?
Oh,
yes,
please
please
teach
teach
us.
us. First, I must blow the fairy dust on you.
Oh, me first, me.
Ah. Now think lovely thoughts. Think lovely thoughts. Fishing.
Hopscotch. Candy.
Picnics.
Summer. Candy.
Sailing.
Flowers. Candy.
Lovelier thoughts, Michael.
A great clip from Peter Pan. Well, of course, Peter Pan led to My Fair Lady. And you may say, well, Steve, that's not very British, but it truly was. This was the very first time that British themes, British thoughts, British social issues truly became the center of a Broadway musical. Pygmalion was everybody's, all of the big writers at the time, including Rodgers and Hammerstein and a few others, wanted to take Pygmalion and set it to music. The problem was, for Rodgers and Hammerstein at least, there was no traditional love story here. And they couldn't figure out within the formulas of the way that they wrote, with a traditional A couple and a B couple, a matriarchal figure, a bad guy. Where was this story going to come from? And there was no love story they could figure out. Lerner and Lowe approached the Shaw estate because they heard that MGM wanted to turn Pygmalion into a musical, and they said, let us do this on spec first. And they went to the 1937 movie with Wendy Hiller and Leslie Howard and discovered all kinds of things that could be turned into musical theater opportunities. Well, they saw, Colonel Pickering being expanded a little bit. The story of her being taken to tea and tested became the Ascot races. What was her life like with the florists and the flower market on the street in Covent Garden? On and on and on. And they expanded My Fair Lady into what became a modern masterpiece. Of course, it introduced us to Julie Andrews, and the original star they had considered was Mary Martin, but her husband didn't like the music and talked Mary out of it, and she responded that she thought it was the ugliest music she had ever heard. Go figure that out. In any event, My Fair Lady launched the career of Julie Andrews. Her acting was not up to the snuff of Rex Harrison, and he became very temperamental. Plus, he became fearful that maybe he had made a fatal career mistake by deciding to actually even do a musical. And his temperamental temper tantrums drove everybody bananas. However, opening night, Julie Andrews certainly soared, as did Rex Harrison, and My Fair Lady has become one of the most enduring popular works of all time. Now, yes, this was an American musical, but this laid the seeds of how Americans would adopt to British concepts and thoughts.
You all recall the recent evening when Rex Harrison and Julie Andrews came to New York in a tremendous musical called My Fair Lady. Here is Julie Andrews.
I could have danced all night, I could have danced all night, and still have begged for more. I could have spread my wings and done 1,000 things I've never done before. I'll never know what made it so exciting. Why, all at once my heart
And then there's this. This is one of the scenes that when Lerner and Lowe looked at the Leslie Howard 1937 Pygmalion movie, they decided they could add because they heard Eliza talking about the flower market that she worked in, but we had never seen
program
it.
here with Rex Harrison, Julie on the cover of it. It was presented for the first time on March 15th, 1956 at the Mark Hellinger Theater, New York, produced by Herman Levin and directed by Moss Hart. That particular March 15th always going to be an historic date in show business.
Well, actually, Ed, March has always been a particularly lucky month for us. Both Brigadoon and My Fair Lady opened in March.
You know, My Fair Lady forever will endure in stage history as one of the classics of show business.
I just want to see what the chat was. I want to make sure there was no
Based on George Bernard Shaw's play, Pygmalion, My Fair Lady took the theater world by storm. Overnight, a superstar was born in the person of Julie Andrews, who played the role of Eliza Doolittle.
Ow! 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 Ow!
Well, shouldn't you stand up, gentlemen? We got a bloomin' Addis in our midst. Wouldn't you be looking for a good butler, Eliza?
Why, you won't do.
It's rather dull in town. I think I'll take me to Paris. The missus wants to open up the Carsal in Capri. Me doctor recommends a quiet summer by the sea. Wouldn't it be lovely? Where are you bound this spring, Eliza? Biarritz?
All I want is a room somewhere far away from the cold night air, with one enormous chair. Wouldn't it be lovely? Lots of chocolate for me to eat, lots of coal making lots of it, warm face, warm hands, warm feet. Wouldn't it be lovely? Oh, so lovely, sitting absolutely still. I would never budge till spring crept over me windowsill, someone's head resting on my knee, warm and tender as he can be, who takes good care of me. How wouldn't it be lovely, 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 lovely?
All I want is a room somewhere far away from the cold night air, with one enormous chair.
How wouldn't it be lovely? Lots of chocolate for me to eat, lots of coal making lots of it, warm face, warm hands, warm feet. How wouldn't it be lovely? Oh, so lovely, sitting absolutely still. I would never budge till spring crept over me windowsill.
Someone's head resting on my knee, warm and tender as she can be.
Who takes good care of me? How wouldn't it be lovely?
Lovely,
certainly as British as it gets. Well, Oliver was the next major British musical. Americans in 1963 had a passing reference to most of the Dickens novels. Maybe you read one in high school or whatever, but Oliver was presented in a musicalized version that many thought was just absolutely phenomenal. And it really showed us that you could take classic big novels and especially British ones, and do something with them. And it led to a great many that were to follow. Now, the song as long as after the Kennedy assassination, theater ticket sales started to lag. So David Merrick went to Ed Sullivan and said, "Put Oliver on a Sunday night." And of course, Ed did. And what Sunday night was it? It was the night that the Beatles made their American premiere. But this song is a classic from Oliver.
He doesn't say the things he should. He acts the way he thinks he should. But all the same, I'll play his game, his way. As long as he needs me. Oh, yes, he does need me. In spite of what you see, I'm sure that he needs me. As long as life is long, I'll love him right or wrong, and somehow I'll be strong. As long as he needs me, I miss him so much when he is gone. But when he's near me, I carry on. The love I feel inside, the love I have to hide, the hell I've got, my pride. As long as he needs me. If you are lonely, then you will know when someone needs you, you love him so. People say I must
Poor CBS added into Judy Garland's nightmare. They were afraid of her, and oh, it's just crazy. Well, the next Brit, again, I see some chats. I just want to make sure there's nothing wrong. Um, and there's not. Okay, Stop the World I Want to Get Off was another British import, and British imports were often cheap to produce in the United States for one reason or another, mostly because when David Merrick brought them over, he brought over small ones. Now, Oliver made so much money that the idea was we could bring another. This was a little bit of an everyman story, and it did run a year and a half. It's rarely seen today because the script is a little boring, to tell you the truth, but it certainly gave us some great music.
Can I turn to when nobody knows? My heart wants to know, and so I must go where destiny leads me. With no star to guide me, and no one beside me. I'll go on my way, and after the day, the darkness will hide me. Maybe tomorrow I'll find what I'm after. I'll throw off my sorrow, beg, steal, or borrow my share of laughter. With you I could learn to, with you on a new day. But who can I turn to if you don't know I? With no star to guide me, and no one beside me, I'll go on my way, and after the day, the darkness will hide me. And maybe tomorrow I'll find what I'm after. I'll throw off my sorrow, beg, steal, or borrow my share of laughter. With you I could learn to, with you on a new day. But who can I turn to if you dare? Maybe tomorrow I'll find what I'm after. I'll throw off my sorrow, beg, steal, or borrow my share of laughter. With you I could learn to, with you on a new day. But who can I turn to if you
That's Anthony Newley, of course, from the second Broadway musical he brought, which was Roar the Grease Paint. But they were very much done in the same style, very small musicals. And Anthony Newley put a lot of hits. And again, people were starting to get more interested in musicals with British backgrounds. Half a Sixpence, the story of a misplaced orphan who inherits a fortune, was typical of the style of the British musicals and why they often didn't make it in the United States. But this one, Half a Sixpence, with Tommy Steele, the British music hall phenomenon, captured everybody's imagination. But then we go for a very long time. Evita becomes the first big British import hit. Although you could say, what about Jesus Christ Superstar or Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoats? Although Jesus Christ Superstar did become a somewhat of a novelty at the time, it didn't become hit status until after Evita gave recognition to the sung-through British musical. That really started to demonstrate that Americans would sit through musicals that were totally sung through and then written by British people. This was sort of the launching pad of the British explosion that happens.
Musical is Evita. The scene is the bedroom of Juan and Evita Perón. As they discuss the feasibility of his bid for the presidency, a crowd begins to gather in the street below.
Dice are rolling, the knives are out. Would-be presidents are all around. I don't say they mean harm, but they'd each give an arm to see us 6 feet underground.
It doesn't matter what those morons say. Our nation's leaders are a feeble crew. There's only 20 of them anyway. What is 20 next to millions who are looking to you? All you have to do is sit and wait, keeping out of everybody's way. You'll be handed power on a plate when the ones who matter have their say, and with chaos installed, you can reluctantly agree to be called.
There again, we could be foolish not to quit while we're ahead. For distance lends enchantment, and that is why all exiles are distinguished. More important, they're not dead. I could find job satisfaction in Paraguay.
This is crazy defeatist talk. Why commit political suicide? There's no risk, there's no call for any action at all when you have unions on your side.
Head on, head on, head on, head on, head on. Hello, Argentina, the chains of the masses untied. Hello, Argentina, the voice of the people cannot be denied.
There is only one man who can lead any workers' regime. He lives for your problems, he shares your ideals and your dream. He supports you, but he loves you, understands you, is one on you. It's not hard, but he loves me.
Hello, Argentina, the workers' battle song. Hello, Argentina, the voice of the people rings out loud and long.
Now I am a worker, I've suffered the way that you do. I've been unemployed and I've starved and I've hated it too. But I'm on my salvation, invade the nation. Let him save them as he saved me.
Hello, Argentina, a new age about to begin. A new Argentina, we face the world together, and no dissent within. It's annoying that we have to fight elections for our cause, the inconvenience having to get a majority. If normal methods of persuasion fail to win us applause, there are other ways of establishing authority. We have ways of making you vote for us, or at least of making you abstain.
Bill has resigned from the army, and this we all know. The death and the sorrows of those he is marching with now. He supports you, he loves you, understands you, is one on you. It's not hard, but he loves me.
Argentina, the chains of the masses untied. Hello,
Well, Cats came next. And, Cats was a complicated situation because everyone in England seemed to know the poems of T.S. Eliot, but Americans didn't. And even though Cats opened to mixed reviews in London, it ran because of the familiarity of the poems. And it was Trevor Nunn who actually pulled the show together by creating a new poem, because it was stated that if you were going to musicalize these poems, the T.S. Eliot estate was very clear, you had to take them all. Well, there wasn't something to hold the glue together, and Trevor Nunn and Cameron McIntosh find a sheet of scribblings in T.S. Eliot's file, basically that said, it's midnight, not a moon on the pavement, the moon's lost her memory, she's standing alone, or something like that. And again, Cats used the same kind of trajectory that Evita did, a totally sung through musical. However, Cats was essentially plotless. It was a series of audition songs for cats who might get a next life. And this reinvented everything. But to make sure Cats would be a success, Andrew Lloyd Webber wanted to make sure that there was something that would get on the radio. And of course, he went to Streisand. They recorded the song Memory. It became a big hit. And everyone wanted to see the show that launched this phenomenon. When it opened in New York, the reviews were mostly mediocre. In fact, one reviewer said it was the kind of thing where you'd want to curl up and take a cat nap. But the aerobic dance and Cats just played everywhere, and tickets were now at about $50 a seat. And audiences were being conditioned that if you're going to spend that kind of money to go to the theater, you wanted to see phenomenal events happening on the stage. And this is what you got.
Are you blind when you're born? Can you see in the dark?
Dare you look at a king?
Would you sit on his throne?
Can you save your bite that it's worse than your bark?
Are you cock of the walk?
When you're walking alone?
Because jellicles can and jellicles do. Jellicles do and jellicles can. Jellicles can and jellicles do. Jellicles do and jellicles can. Jellicles can and jellicles do.
We can dive through the air like a flying trapeze.
We can turn double somersaults, bounce on a tire.
We can run up a wall.
We can swing through the trees.
We can balance on bars. We can walk on a wire.
is masquerading like a flower as the dawn is breaking. The memories fading. Touch me, it's so easy to leave me all alone with the memory of my days in the sun. If you touch me, you'll understand what happiness is. Look, a new day has
Now that's Betty Buckley, and Karen McIntosh was not happy with her performance at all, and he felt that she wasn't giving the right angst. So a week or so before the show opened, he told the cast to shun her. She came and sits down next to you next to lunch, to have lunch, walk away. If she calls you, hang up. And just before she was going out for the dress rehearsal, he said to her, "You know, Betty, I don't know what I was thinking. How I ever gave you this part was the biggest mistake I ever made." And imagine hearing that. She goes out on stage totally devastated and finally sings the song the way that Cameron McIntosh was hoping for. And frankly, with that kind of angst, because she thought she was done. And when she walked off stage, he said, "Sorry I had to do that to you, Betty, but now you got it." It's the terrible things that directors do and the producers to their casts. Me and My Girl Came Next. It had never appeared in New York. A 1937 British musical, typical of the style, about a cockney who inherits a fortune. It really was an antique, but it ran for 3.5 years, caught everybody by storm, and again, this is the British musicals that are capturing everything in the Middle East.
Now listen, you could no more walk the Lambeth way than we could walk the Mayfair way. You know, Lambeth, you've never seen. The skies ain't blue, oh, the grass, it ain't green. It hasn't got the Mayfair touch, but, well, that don't matter very much. We play a different way, not like you, but a bit more gay. When we have a bit of fun, oh boy. Anytime you're Lambeth way, any evening, any day, you'll find us all doing the Lambeth walk. Oi! Every little Lambeth gal with a little Lambeth pal, you'll find us all doing the Lambeth walk. Oi! Everything free and easy, because you know well, please. Why don't you make your way there? Go there, stay there. Once you get down Lambeth way, every evening, every day, you'll find yourself doing the Lambeth walk. Oi!
Anytime you're Lambeth way, any evening, any day, you'll find us all doing the Lambeth walk. Okay, every little Lambeth gal with a little Lambeth pal, you'll find them all doing the Lambeth walk.
Oi! Everything bright and breezy.
1938 musical had never appeared in New York, and it won Tony for Best Musical that year. Of course, Les Mis joins the crowd of the big musicals with the big sets, the big cast, and again, totally sung through. American audiences were now ready for these very large musicals that captured everybody's imagination. And of course, we all love Les Mis. Well, after Les Mis came The Phantom of the Opera. This one not sung through, but again based upon enormous set pieces, big scenery, directed by Hal Prince. And, well, it's still running some 25, 30 years later, actually, about 28 years. I'm figuring it out. It's about 35 years. And, the truth of the matter is, it's still a spectacle. There are those who think it's an overblown mess, but those still love it.
Michael Crawford and Sarah Brightman in The Phantom of the Opera.
In all your fantasies, you always knew that man and mystery were both in you. And in this labyrinth, where night is blind, the phantom of the opera is there inside my mind. Sing for me, sing my angel of music. Sing, my angel of music, sing for me!
His voice filled my spirit with a strange, sweet sound. In the night there was music in my mind, and through music my soul began to
Slowly, gently, light unfurls its splendor. Grasp it, sense it, tremulous and tender. Turn your face away from the garish light of day. Turn your thoughts away from cold, unfeeling light, and listen to the music of the night. Let your mind start a journey through a strange new world. Leave all thoughts of the world you knew before. Let your soul take you where you long to be.
Well, the Phantom is still running, of course. Chess, which opened up at the same time, another sung through musical, the story of uh, a chess match between the East and the West, and all kinds of controversial things with the Iron Curtain. It's going to be rewritten a little bit. It's always been sort of a stodgy book, but the music has been exceptional. For those of you who are going to London with me next week, you're going to meet the man who actually directed this concert version of Chess with Josh Groban.
No madness, though this sad power may prevail, can possess, conquer my country's heart. They rise to fail. She is eternal, long before nations' lines were drawn, when no flags flew, when no armies stood, my land was born. And you ask me why I love her, through wars, death, and despair. She is the constant, we who don't care. And you wonder, will I leave her? But how? I cross over borders, but I'm still there
wedding, and the city don't know what the city is getting. The creme de la creme of the chess world in a show with everything but Yul Brynner. Time flies, doesn't seem a minute since Tyrolean Spy had the chess boys in it. All changed, but don't you know that when you play at this level, it's no ordinary venue? It's Iceland, or the Philippines, or Hastings, or this place.
One night in Bangkok and the world's your oyster. The bars are temples, but the pearls ain't free. You'll find a god in every golden cloister. And if you're lucky, then the god's a she. I can feel an angel sliding up to me.
One town's very like another when your head's down over your pieces, brother.
It's a drag.
It's a bore.
It's really such a pity to be looking at the board, not looking at the city.
What do you mean? You seen one crowded, polluted, stinking town, you...
Tea girls, warm, sweet. Somerset up in the Somerset warm suite.
Get tied, you're talking to a tourist whose every move's among the purest. I get my kicks above the waistline, sunshine.
One night in Bangkok makes a hard man humble. Not much between despair and ecstasy. One night in Bangkok and the tough guys tumble. Can't be too careful with your company. I can feel the devil walking next to me.
Siam's gonna be the witness to the ultimate test in cerebral fitness. This grips me more than would a muddy old river or reclining Buddha. Thank God I'm only watching the game, controlling it. I don't see you guys rating the kind of mate I'm contemplating. I'd let you watch, I would invite you, but the queens we use would not excite you. So you better go back to your bars, your temples, your massage parlors.
One night in Bangkok and the world's your oyster. The bars are temples, but the pearls ain't free. You'll find a god in every golden cloister. A little flesh, a little history. I can feel an angel sliding next to me. One night in Bangkok makes the heart man humble. Not much between despair and ecstasy. One night in Bangkok and the tough guys tumble. Can't be too careful with your company. I can feel the devil walking next to me.
Now, chess ran in London for, oh my God, probably 10 years. In the United States, it ran 2 months. Go figure. Well, we just did that. Aspects of Love was Andrew Lloyd Webber's next musical because everyone accused him of not being able to write small. This is about a menage a trois, but it's too complicated to explain. It too ran in London for a period of time, but didn't last long in the United States at all.
And you'll see the...
Love changes everything, hands and faces, earth and sky. Love changes everything, how you live and how you die. Love can make the summer fly, or a night seem like a lifetime. Yes, love changes everything. Now I tremble at your name. Nothing in the world will ever be the same. Love changes everything. Days are longer, words mean more. Love changes everything. Pain is deeper than before.
Love changes everything, brings you glory, brings you shame. Nothing in the world will ever be the same. Love into the world we go, planning futures, shaping it. Love bursts in and suddenly all our wisdom disappears. Love makes full of everyone, all the roads we take are broken. Yes, love changes everyone, live or perish in its flame. Love will never, never let you be the same. Love will never, never let you be the
And that is one of the nastiest songs a tenor can sing. Anyway, Miss Saigon created an awful lot of controversy because Cameron McIntosh wanted to bring the entire cast from London, starring Jonathan Pryce, and Jonathan Pryce was not Asian, and there were plenty of Asian actors in the United States who could have played the part. It was a tremendous controversy, as you'll notice, as Jeremy Irons introduces it.
The last of tonight's nominated musicals is Miss Saigon. A smash hit in London that quietly tiptoed into New York this spring. With an advance ticket sale almost equal to the British national debt. And only slightly more front-page coverage than General Schwarzkopf. I say that again, Schwarzkopf. It helps to clear the throat. Set in Saigon during the last harrowing days of the Vietnam War, Miss Saigon is an extraordinarily powerful piece of modern musical theatre. Here, with Tony nominees Lea Salonga, Jonathan Pryce, Willie Falk, and Hinton Battle, Miss Saigon.
He's one drop of blood left here to taint our blood. Our lyrics blood was small. Forget that he was born.
Very, very, very emotional piece. And there's one more British musical, and then the taste changes and things become very much more American. And it ends with Sunset Boulevard.
Hello. Let's get a look at you.
I don't know why I'm frightened. I know my way around here. The cardboard trees, the painted seas, the sound here. Yes, a world to rediscover. But I'm not in any hurry. And I need a moment. The whispered conversations in overcrowded hallways. The atmosphere as thrilling here as always. Feel the early morning madness. Feel the magic in the making. Why, everything's as if we never said goodbye. I'm coming out of makeup. The lights already burning. Not long until the cameras will start turning. And the early morning madness and the magic in the making. Yes, everything's as if we never said goodbye. I don't want to be alone. That's all in the past. This world's waited long enough. I've come home at last. And this time will be bigger and brighter than we knew it. So watch me fly. We all know I can do it. Could I stop my hand from shaking? Has there ever been a moment with so much to live for? The whispered conversations in overcrowded hallways. So much to say, not just today, but always. I will have everybody madness. We'll have magic in the making. Yes, everything's as if we never said goodbye. Yes, everything's as if we never said goodbye.
Well, that's sort of an overview of the British musical. And things changed. Um, American tastes were shifting. And the other thing that happened was these things ran forever and it limited the number of theaters that were available for new productions. By the time the year 2000 rolls around, the American musical really takes hold again. And it's year after year after year at that point that the American musical then really recaptures the dominance of the creative thing. I noticed someone was saying something about aspects of love. I remember falling asleep in it. Um, and in any event, I know I did not mention the boyfriend. Thank you for showing that to me. The boyfriend was written by Sandy Wilson and was a spoof of girls' boarding schools, and it introduced us to Julie Andrews. Thank you for pointing that out. I never realized until just this moment. Um, Phantom did win for Best Musical, but Sondheim won the Best Musical Score, yes, at the same time. And I'm just looking to see if there's anything else. Do U.S. musicals migrate over? Yeah, as a matter of fact, when we go to London, you look at what you want to see. Almost everything now is an American musical that's already been here. You still have Phantom running, but like the big hits there are Book of Mormon, Moulin Rouge, which many of you have seen with me locally. Janet looks like she's holding up something in the newspaper. I can't quite figure out what it was. Okay. And in any event, the British musical is taking a second seat to the American musical. Interestingly enough, there are many British musicals that play there for a long time that don't translate well, like Blood Brothers, for example. Another one, everyone's talking about Jamie. Some of you saw it with me in London a few years ago. They filmed it for Netflix, but it wouldn't translate. It's really just too British. Billy Elliot, of course, translated, but that was based upon the movie. I don't know if anybody has any questions for me. Let me unmute. If I can figure out how to do that at this moment, why I can't do it. Here we go. I'm allowing you all to unmute if anybody wants to add anything vocally. Just feel free to hit the unmute button.
I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed Blood Brothers. I'm sorry it wasn't a bigger hit over here. It's got a quirky story and some quirky songs. It's kind of fun.
Well, yeah, but the problem, and it is, but the problem with it is it was way too British for the American audiences. Another one was Martin Guerre, written by the Les Miserables, Miss Saigon team. Sometimes the theme is too British in its origin with class issues and so forth to translate well to American audiences. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's a shame.
The British musicals play forever, and then they just don't cross the pond well. Anybody else have anything you'd like to ask or share? Yeah, go ahead, Winnie.
Hi. Thank you for a great class.
Thank
Very
you.
interesting. I have a question about Funny Girl.
Yeah.
What have you heard?
I think if you turn on TV, I have a group going on the 11th. If you turn on TV, they're everywhere because they have a pretty high hill to climb. I have a friend who's going to opening night on Sunday. I don't always agree with this person. I don't know. I've seen Beanie Feldstein before. I think she's really talented. I've read all kinds of things online that are all over the place. So I just don't know. But I promise you, in every review, there's going to be something that alludes to, well, she's not Streisand, but.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be there. And, ironically, they're opening it on Sunday night, which is Barbara's 80th birthday.
Oh.
Well, Steve, what about people who've never seen Barbara? Like the younger generation who has nothing. They can't compare to Barbara.
First of all, I doubt this is going to appeal to the younger generation. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
My granddaughter doesn't even know what Funny Girl is.
I guess I'm dating myself here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but we all grew up with it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure my granddaughter knows who Barbara Streisand is, to tell you the truth.
Ouch.
But I have a feeling the audience that's going is our age group and maybe 20 to 30 years younger. It's going to be very interesting. Remember, this isn't the Music Man, where you take your kids.
Right.
It's just not the same thing. So I don't know. We'll find out on Monday morning.
That's why I asked the question.
I mean, I'm going to tell you my personal gut reaction, and I do have a group going. I'm not sure. I mean, I think they needed somebody with a lot more star power than Beanie Feldstein. And the guy that's playing Nick Ornstein is a Broadway in-person. And Jane Lynch as Mrs. Bryce doesn't quite equate for me either. So I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah.
Could be interesting.
Yeah, well, it'll be in the papers Monday morning. I cannot wait to get the New York Times. Anybody have anything else you want to add? Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
All right. Well, anyway, so watch. Yeah, Rosalie, go ahead.
Steve, have a great trip.
Thank you.
To London, and I have COVID. Sid got COVID last week, April 10th. I got COVID the 18th, and we both missed our daughter's Seder.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
No, but I'm better now, and he's
good.
better.
Yeah, it'll pass. All right, listen, everybody, just have a good one. I know there's a couple people here who are going with me next week. I can't wait to see you. And don't forget, I'm going to send you a film clip to watch in my absence. Take care, everybody.
Have fun.
Thank you.